Hey guys, Super Nintendo here, and this week we're reviewing Silent Hill for the PlayStation. Now I'm really glad that this came up because it's been on my playlist for quite some time. It's actually been sitting in my collection for a couple of years now. I've heard really good things about this game, so I'm really excited to play it. So let's take a look, and be sure to stick around for the end of the video where you guys get to choose my next game. Silent Hill is a survival horror game that was released for the original PlayStation in 1999 and published by Konami. You play as Harry Mason, which is a Joe Everyman character that doesn't have a lot of depth. This was intentional for players to project themselves onto Harry. And the goal of the game is to find Harry's daughter Cheryl. You're in a small town called Silent Hill, and for the most part you're alone on your quest to find her. This game excels with minimalism, which adds to its creep factor. There's not a lot going on and not much to interact with, but the fact that the story is based on you trapped in an eerie town, that helps. There are puzzles to solve and also super creepy monsters that want to kill you. This game was designed during a time where the analog controls weren't the norm, so it utilized the D-pad first. You can turn on the analog stick, but it doesn't feel as native since the right stick doesn't do anything. The camera is fixed, but you can move it with L2, and the direction Harry is facing determines which controls you use. So for example, if I want to go to the top of the screen and Harry's back is facing me, I would press up on the D-pad and he would have to move away from me. But if Harry is facing me and I want to move down the screen, I would have to push up on the D-pad. These types of controls make you thankful for modern games that don't require you to turn and then move forward. It takes some getting used to, but after a bit you forget the controls are even there. Except when you're aiming. The game has an auto aim feature, which is a must for games like this. You press R2 to ready your weapon and then press X to shoot, but the thing you're shooting needs to be in front of you to hit it. The first couple of times you might want to unload onto the enemy, but since you have limited ammunition, you want to make your hits count. Also, you tend to panic if there's more than one enemy to battle, so you end up wasting some ammo. This game explains the poor aiming away by saying you're an average Joe, and it makes sense that you suck at shooting then. None of the enemies seem to be phased by the bullet, so you have to sidestep out of the way to dodge any attacks they might pull out. Shots for basic enemies will take anywhere from 2 to 5 shots, so you either need to make them count or avoid all enemies altogether. When you do kill something, you want to walk over and hit X to stomp on its head, and if you don't stomp it, it can get back up to kill you and you'll have to shoot it again. There are health drinks and health kits that help you along the way in case you get hit. There isn't any assigned button, nor is there a HUD, so you'll have to access it through the menu by hitting select. From here you can equip knives, pipes, and other type of guns if you run out of ammo, and you can also check the status of Harry. The game will tell you if you're low on health by rumbling the controller so you can heal yourself, but other than that the game makes no effort to tell you when you need to heal. The graphics on this game didn't really age well, but I think you can apply that to any 3D game from the PlayStation era. I played this on the PS2, which makes it a little bit better, but not so much. One thing that's impressive is that there's barely any load times, and Konami games of this age work really well to hide them, so I'm sure they're there somewhere, but just hidden to make the game more seamless. Overall, Silent Hill takes a while to take off, but once you get into the school, the story gets a lot more intense and the puzzles are more frequent. The game gets a lot deeper as it progresses, and I couldn't put it down. There are some frustrating parts, like when you run into 2 or more enemies and you can't shoot them, and all of their attacks they make land. If you die before saving and you're kicked back to the start screen and you lose any progress between saves, but that's not as bad as Resident Evil where you're limited to how many times you can save. I do wish there was a method to save any tips that you come across, but sticking to the old school pen and paper brings back some nostalgia. Also, I really like the map in this game because it saves what doors are unlocked and where you've already been, so there isn't a lot of backtracking. The game does reuse a lot of assets, so it's nice that they realized that and gave you a way to distinguish where you need to go. Although this game doesn't hold your hand, it does give you some nudging where you need to go in the game via unlocked and locked doors. It also has a little bit more generous ammunition than Resident Evil, which comes in handy because enemies sometimes do respawn. So despite its shortcomings, Silent Hill is definitely a game to add to your PlayStation collection. Okay, that about does it for Silent Hill. It's a good game. It doesn't necessarily hold up graphics wise, and I really don't think most PlayStation games do, but I definitely recommend it if you're a PlayStation collector. It also is available on the PlayStation Store for the PS3 and PSP for only $6, so that's not too bad. This game for the PlayStation complete is about $35, which isn't too big of a deal when you count that some of the other PlayStation games are nearing $100. Alright, that about does it for my video. Of course, you guys get to choose what I review next. Your choices this week are Kirby's Adventure for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It just barely got beat out by Silent Hill this time. Castles of Shikigami 3 for the Wii. Tailspin for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And Rumble Roses for the PlayStation 2. Now you guys can vote either by leaving a comment down below on which game I should review next, or you can go on to Twitter. My handle is @SnickTendo. I'll have a poll up for the next couple of days so that you guys can vote. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.